Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one in Queensland. The Reds going head-to-head up against the Crusaders. Currently, these two sides are separated by a very thin margin as a whole on the standings, which means whoever wins this game, they get that nice little boost. They work their way towards that top four. Looking through at the starting lineups, quite a lot of talent across these two teams, although for the Crusaders, they are missing Cody Taylor. They are also missing Will Jordan for this contest, as I'm about to cough again. As you guys know, was recently sick, currently just choking. 1 second. We'll hide off to the side. Right, we might be good now. Ladies and gents, voice is struggling. This is the fourth live stream of the day, certainly feeling it. I want to go through the starting lineups, but I think I'm going to choke again, so we'll just give it a little bit. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're excited for this game, which the voice will hopefully come back for in the near future. Just keep on sculling water. Eventually we'll be right, but no. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Reds, it is Aidan Ross in the front row alongside Matt Faisler and Nick Bloomfield as the number 3. Sururu alongside Luka and Salakai Lotto in the locking duo. Joe Bryle at 6. Fraser McWright as the number 7, and Harry Wilson slotting in as at number 8. Kalani Thomas and Carter Gordon, as I choke again, as that number 10. Tim Ryan out on the left wing. They have got Hunter Paisami and Josh Fluke. In the middle of the field, Filippo Dangunu out on the right, and Jock Campbell as that number 15. Are you teary-eyed because Blues lost? No, because I forgot how to breathe. So that was slightly a struggle. 1 second, I'm about to cough again, so I'll quickly mute. Here we go. We are good to go. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Crusaders, though. In this contest, it is going to be George Bauer in the front row alongside George Bell and Fletcher Nall. Like I mentioned, no Cody Taylor due to injury. Antonio Shalfoon in the locking duo alongside Jamie Hanna as the two locking options. Dom Gardner, Corey Callow, Christian Leo Willie. So a bit of a change compared to what we saw last week. Johnny Lee, nowhere to be seen. Let's go, says Jordan. The signal was very good. And after last week, I would imagine the Reds will be out for blood, says Zakaya. I think so. They were definitely not supposed to lose that game up against the Western Force. Noah Hotham and Taha Kimura as that 9 and 10 combo. Sevu Reece out on the left wing. David Havili and Lester Whaiananuku will be in the midfield. Che Fiaki and Johnny McNichol. That's the number 15. We have got there. Did I tell you I got my BCom degree on Thursday? You didn't, Mohadine. I don't know what a BCom degree is, but I think it sounds like something that's good, so congratulations for that. Just showing Filippo Dangunu about to lead side out onto the field. I'm about to cough again, so I'll quickly mute. We should be sorted by the time the match does start up. Right, I think we're good. Prescribe you plenty of chicken tenders and Masashi energy drinks. I think if I had any chicken tenders now, I'd choke on the big time. And Hamish, how are you? Well, other than almost just choking live on live stream, I'm good. Doing all right now. It's as if it never happened. We have got there. Is it true? First time Blues lost against the Highlanders. The Highlanders, they did lose up against the Hurricanes, but it definitely wasn't the first time. They are going to be playing up against the Highlanders next week in their contest, so that'll be one to keep an eye out for. But Dangunu led the Reds out onto the field. The rest of the team now running out there too. Dangunu excited to see what he can do. He is going head-to-head with Sevu Reece. And it looks like he possibly forgot his something here. It's either ring or, I know what's a little bit of spray for the hands by the looks of it. He's already put the mouth guard in as well. But do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gents. Angus Gardner, he is the man in charge of this one. There was one slight thing that I know that some Crusader supporters were happy about, was seeing Nick Berry's face for that game between the Hurricanes and the Blues, as it meant that he wasn't going to be in charge of this game. It should still be a very competitive match. What was the full-time score last match? Says Ilaria. In the end, it was about 42-19 or something like that. It wasn't actually that close in the end. Now line out here. Or sorry, not line out, kickoff here. Just about to take place, 62-7 for the Reds. And also we have got their reports last year, said RA has gotten rid of the Gitto's law. It's now free range. Reports come out this week. Said that's not the case and only 3 overseas players allowed thoughts. It's beyond ridiculous that a country that can't even compete in the World Cup or World Club comp is restricting player availability. Yeah, I didn't realise it was only allowed 3. Seems like a weird thing, unless, of course, they're working on the theory that most of the guys they're selecting are in Australia. But then limiting yourself to only the 3 options seems strict too. And we have got there, are you doing Dragons vs Zebra? No. But we are going to be doing 2 games of the Champions Cup later on tonight. That ball is being kicked into touch by the Reds, so the Crusaders will have themselves the line-out with George Bell in charge of the throws today. That is due to the absence of Cody Taylor, injury for him. It is a hamstring to be determined, and also the same with Will Jordan. He has got a calf injury, and to be confirmed when he will be back. But, of course, for the Crusaders, they will be hoping it is very soon. Watching the Wires, hope we win. Says Highlanders fan there. Yeah, that game of the NRL that was close that I mentioned about, it didn't end up close. In the end, I think the Roosters ran away with it. Let's go Cole Davis, young Kiwi in the Supercross in the USA race tomorrow. How far away from Rupana are you? I have no idea where Rupana is, so that's probably half by letting you know. 1 second. It doesn't say. So it must be far away, I would think. Yeah, it hasn't got anything. So it must be North Island, is it? Or is it South Island? Would you go free range for the ABs and let them play anywhere and be available for the All Blacks or nah? I think it's something that New Zealand Rugby will have to look at saying yes. The race course in Christchurch says Gary Roll, we're probably about 3 hours or so away then. And we have got there, about the All Blacks. I think that they will have to eventually go to what everyone else is doing because or else they'll just lose too many players overseas. What is your score prediction? Says Ilaria. I think it will be close. Less than 10 separating them. I'm going Crusaders narrow victory though. But I wouldn't be surprised that the Reds after that loss to the Western Force, they really fire up. Who won the last game? It was the Hurricanes in the end. Got themselves the big win over the blue side, but kicked up high from Kalani. Thomas chasing after this was Felipe Tangunu, but beautifully taken there by Taha Kimura under the high ball. Now the Crusaders have got themselves the possession. I consider it as the away side in this matchup, so they will certainly be feeling it from the crowd. Hi everyone, says Cynthia, welcome in. And cheers mate, says Royal Sheepdog, no worries. You know, on the rugby tomorrow, it depends which games you're talking. Tomorrow for me is in a couple hours, and then from there we are doing those Champions Cup games. I believe we're going to be doing the rest of the Champions Cup quarterfinals. That is a penalty for the Crusaders. About 35 metres out, probably 40 on the angle from the posts. They were going to be opting for the kick. It's Lukan Salakai. In fact, no, Suru Uru, the man. It's been penalised for that one. They've just shown him. He's got a kick towards the sideline too. I reckon Quintabaya at 12 and Lesser at 13 for the ABs. So here's Kay Slade. And Tavatavanawai at 12 and Tabaya at 13. Sorry, the spelling's wrong. Ruapuna. Okay, that sounds somewhere that I've heard of. But what do you have? Initial Rapana. I was utterly confused. Now rolling maul here for the Crusaders. George Bell hanging on to this one at the back. Being told to use it now. Noah Hotham just waiting a little bit longer before going across to David Harville. Now finds hands at Johnny McNichol looping around. Taha Kimura cuts back on the inside. Tim Ryan has to make the tackle only a couple metres out from the try line. Now pick and go from Lester Whaiananuku. He's wearing the big white headgear for this contest. Maisami making the tackle. Bit of pressure there on the breakdown from Brile. Taha Kimura goes across now. Johnny McNichol has Sevu Reece with him on the outside, but they skip right over the top to Christian Leo Willie, who finishes it off in the quarter. Crusaders score 4 minutes in. And to lose game tomorrow? We are going to be doing that one up against Bordeaux. And Brady Retallick would have to be locked for the ABs. If they do go to free range, this is exactly the type of experienced player you need. And favourite player on each team. Favourite player? I mean, I don't mind Christian Leo Willie, to be fair. For the Crusaders, I'd almost go Jamie Hanna. I think that man's definitely starting to make a name for himself in the locking department. And for the Reds, I really like their loose forward trio. Supercars is there this next weekend. No, you are a South Island boy, yeah, but I'm not a supercar boy. So I probably wouldn't go. Fitisar had a very good game, says Jordan. That one has just hit the post and bounced away for Taha Kimura, so that will keep the score as 5-0. Jamie Hanna at 6. Not for the top job or not. Depends. Like, I think we have to see him in action as an international coach first. Because or else then it's very tricky to judge some guys based off their, like, Super Rugby teams. I think Glasgow Warriors and Connacht will win. I think Glasgow will. Connacht have got the harder game of the two, I feel. Oh, no, Toulon's a hard side. I won't quite discredit them. But Glasgow at home normally do get the job done. But, yeah, I think Montpellier will be a bit of a tricky one. Hamish favourite player is McWright. Hamish also thinks he's better than Hardy. Says Brownie there. I do quite like Fraser McWright, to be fair. It's easy to forget who they've got in their backline sometimes as well, the Reds. It is a pretty stacked looking lineup, you know. Tim Ryan out on that left wing. He gets quite a bit of possession. That wasn't very straight from the Reds, but it wasn't contested from the Crusaders. Now flat tack and run from Hunter Paisami, tackled by Callow, playing in that number 7 jersey for today. Now stepping on the inside. Fluke almost made his way through. Come on, Crusaders. What says Ilaria? I think Artie is better. Now, Kalani Thomas, there is going to be another penalty advantage. Going to Carter Gordon. What was the score in the previous game? It says Mornay, the Hurricanes won with a bonus point. So relatively comfortable. There's a knock on there. They're going to go back for the initial penalty. They might consider 3 points here. But end score on that one, 42 points to 19. I know taking your Chanchel. Tim will assist him, says Mohadeen. Well, to be fair, I did offer this game to one of those two, and they said no. So, you know, they can't quite take it over yet if they aren't doing more. You got as the best ref in the game right now. I don't think I want to be a ref at all. So from that tells you I really don't like. There are certain refs that I'm like, yeah, he's done a good job there, but then you'll see people saying absolutely terrible game. So I think it all comes down to interpretation of the law book. Because, of course, everyone thinks that they know all the laws, but really no one actually really does. And even sometimes the referees possibly feel like they don't know them all to the complete extent. But Gardner's normally all right. I don't mind him. In terms of Super Rugby-wise. Now, ball's there, going off to the left-hand side. Who's the captain for the Chiefs? It was Tupavai in charge of it. Did you know that the US won 2 Olympic gold medals in rugby back in 1920s? I did. And then they got rid of rugby union, but then rugby sevens came to the Olympics. And since then, Fiji done very nicely in the Olympic side of things. Going off to the right-hand side. Ryle. I don't even remember who won the last Olympics sevens. That's, good low tackle. Was it South Africa? Trying to milk that one. Kalani Thomas has got his side. The advantage there. It's gone into touch. To go back for the penalty. And there's a rugby stream or horse racing, please advise, says Jack. Depends on what we're into. We might get into a little bit of horse racing in the halftime break, just to speed it up a little bit, just in case the rugby's too slow. And France won Olympic sevens. Oh yeah, no, they did, didn't they? Dupont and his side did manage to get over. I couldn't even remember. It is something that I've learnt recently, as my memory has actually, I joke about it a little bit, but it's actually quite bad. And it's got to the point how I forget what happens the week prior in games of rugby now. I think I've broken my brain from doing too many all-nighters. And I'd love to do a brain scan because I feel like I've got now the brain of like an 80-year-old man. Like, not even joking. How many players on a sevens team, says Jason? Well, you've got it normally anywhere between 7 and 13. I think you're allowed about 6 subs. But normally you don't have all of those guys there. Are you doing Rugby Sevens next Friday? Probably. Going off to the left-hand side, though. Josh Fluke. Ball is there for the Reds. At this point in time, Kalani Thomas tries the sniping run. He offloads Siruru with the no-look pass to Fraser McWright. Be tackled by Noah Hofer, but the Reds are right there and ready to try and go over the line here, about maybe half a metre. Kalani Thomas on his knee. He's just placed that ball down on the line. He's actually had it ripped off him as well by the Crusaders. So Kalani Thomas may have just made an absolutely brutal error. Harry Wilson's calling for the TMO, and it is going to be an unplayable. I think they do have to check this one, though. Kalani Thomas just trying to place that ball. He was actually on his knee when he placed it, though. So the player's claiming he's scored it, but is he grounded? If he's got his knee down, is he allowed to play that ball to the try line from a knee? Or does that count as playing the ball from the ground? Is that something that I'm overthinking? We're going to see the replay here. But I'm sure Kalani Thomas had his knee down when he grabbed the ball. So is that playing the ball from the ground, or is he all right? We're about to find out. We're going to get to see the replay. It looked pretty close, though. And not just for Fraser McWright, but also for Kalani Thomas. So Dungunu gets close. Right. Yeah, Kalani Thomas is on one knee here when he tries to finish that one off. They're saying there that it might have initially been short. So he's on his knee. Okay, yeah. Angus Gardner's just said there, it's initially short. Kalani Thomas is not on his feet. Therefore, it counts as playing the ball from the ground. So it's going to be either ruled as a penalty to the Crusaders for playing the ball from the ground. That was a weird play from Kalani Thomas and something that surely he should have thought about. We're seeing the replay there. Yeah, it looks like he might have also been short of the line as well, though. Okay, Angus Gardner ready to explain it. So red short of the line. Kalani Thomas is off his feet because he's played the ball from the knee. And then he's not allowed to play it forward because of being on the ground. So it's no try, penalty to the Crusaders. Since that's a rugby as a rugby 10s before. And fair enough. Don't get why they get paid to ref. We don't. I thought it was certain try, but that makes perfect sense, says Brownie. And yeah, they're just saying he just needs to get off his knee in that scenario. I was confused straight away. And I think I went on about it a bit too much, to be fair, but it just seemed like a weird one. I used to rip it up at touch football back in the day. Believe it or not, I was the same. But that was back when I was like 6. And then I slowed down. Nice take there from Jamie Hanna in the line-out, but the penalty goes the way of the Reds. Our time to penalise all halves who play the ball with a knee on the at all rucks. I'm all for that, by the way. See studs race. Yeah, it was a weird one because blatantly as well. Like, you know how, like, sometimes you see the halfback. Well, normally they put their knee on a player, don't they? So I guess that doesn't count as grounded. But for that one, he was just chilling on the knee and went, oh, well, I'll reach out, try and put that ball down. Did you pay the referee for the Crusaders to win? No. But, tell you what, I said about how people don't know the laws very well. I'm the same, but I feel like I did slightly well in that scenario. Kiwi Lads touch footy with a GoPro on. George will be comedy gold. He's quick, though. Like, he is very fast. Oh, that's now a try for Fraser McWright. There'll be no denying that one. Breaking off the back of the rolling maul and finishing it off for the Reds. And say, now get back into this game. But yeah, I think George is much quicker than people realise. And I think him chasing me down in a game of touch rugby, I would be very worried. Big time. Because he might just decide that it's tackle. So Avenidas was 0.1 millimetre off the ground, it would be a try. Kind of, yeah. If he hadn't been so blatantly on his knee trying to play it over the line, he would have been fine. If he had just played it like a normal halfback, he would have been fine too. But because he decided he wanted to kneel down to grab the ball, That's what caused the problem. But McWright finishes that one off. They are World Rugby champions. There was no World Cup back then. And the Crusaders. There's Joshua in there. You're not 30 yet and your memory are that bad. That's concerning if I was you. Oh, yeah, it's big time concerning. It's probably something that's going to really hamper me at about 30. But it's the price that I've paid for doing so many late night streams and pretty much running my brain into the ground. So, like, it's my own fault. But, yeah, it's not ideal. 4 in a row. Let's go to the Crusaders. Here's Moa Hunters. Nicely taken by Siru. Trying to get a little bit of a counter ruck there from Sarah Reese. I won my bet with my mate, $50 on a box of beers. Yeah, quality sleep is the secret to a healthy lifestyle. Condolences, says Jason. This is a perfect time to plug that we are going to be doing 2 games of the Champions Cup. One at 1:55 a.m. and one at 4:25 a.m. At least it's not CTE. True. Please don't sleep from Friday till Monday next week. I probably won't be able to. There's so much on, including those Hong Kong Sevens matches. Filipa Dungunu looking to run this ball back, but currently leading this game. The Reds 7 points to 5. Oh, kicking back downfield. That's out on the full from the Crusaders. They made it to the South Island team trial, but got homesick. Regret it so much. Says MPT. Is Rugby 25 playable, or is it just dead with no return? I haven't played it for a long time. In fact, I can actually see that, can't I? Hang on. Last time I played Rugby 25. I thought it would tell me. Previous playtime in the last 2 weeks is 0. But I'm not actually sure when the last time was that I actually played it. I thought it told you on Steam, but I can't see it. Replace a good night's sleep. Your ability to do these games the hours on end and no sleep is absolutely astounding and brilliant, says Ruth. Now it's going to become a rolling maul here. That ball's going to be tied up big time by the Crusaders, and I don't see any outcome here apart from it being a scrum. Well, to be fair, it's actually popped out on the side of the Crusaders. I think the Reds let that one go, and now Salakai Lotto is going to turn it into a rolling maul on the other side, picked up by Mick Wright. That was kind of like using a move against the opposition there very nicely. Kalani Thomas with a big wide cutout pass, but it goes straight into the hands of Corey Callow. Offload back to Harry Wilson. He'll go for a kick in behind and becomes a foot race. And tell you what, Carter Gordon, he's going to win that foot race. And the Reds score themselves another one. Oh, Fletcher Null just got pushed off the ball there after the try was scored. And he looks like he's injured now. WTF, was that a real confusion, that is for sure. 60s BTW pads are still a little bit sick from last week. I think I've done some damage to my brain watching Euro Rugby Live too. I'm looking forward to tonight's game, so says Studs Race. But yeah, it was a weird pass from Kalani Thomas. He just pretty much launched it as far as he could, hoping for the best. But then Carter Gordon manages to finish it off. Okay, I understand why Fletcher Null got pushed. He actually pushed the number 13, Josh Fluke. So that's where his push came from. And the backfiring factor for him is he actually ended up injured from the push that he got. Yeah, so Fletcher Null not enjoying that one for the spine. The kick has gone over from Jock Campbell, and that is now going to make the score 14 points to 5. Christian Leo Willie encore. Says Nico there. And Owaza ahead. I actually had a sneaky feeling about the Wars today. It wasn't much of one, but they're doing all right so far. But they're only 16 minutes in. That's the problem. Okay, so we know which Reds team caught the bus today. Says Studs Race. Another Reds pushed their own player, says Jordan. Yeah, so what happened was Fletcher Null pushed Josh Fluke, and then in retaliation, I think it was Joe Bryle pushed Fletcher Null to the ground. So, in a way, it's kind of like Null's own fault, which I think is why he got up and realised that like he wasn't going to get much sympathy from the Reds or from his own teammates. One's going to be put high from Kalani Thomas. 14 points to 5 at the moment. You can't have not enjoyed the Saints vs Bars game last night. That was, yeah. I watched the highlights of that one earlier on, and it's just made me want to watch the full match multiple times. There were so many good moments in that game. But the sad thing is the two games today are supposed to be less, close. So hopefully one of them throws a bit of a curveball in. High kick from Hotham. Nicely taken by Filippo Dungunu. Oh, he's knocked that one on. A little bit of a soft carry from Dungunu, which is going to bring the ball back into the side of the Crusaders and Bell. Now Johnny McNichol, bounce pass to Lester Whaiananuku. He's going to try a kick off his left boot. Doesn't often, and I think we've just seen why, although a bit of a miscommunication at the back from the Reds. They'll go back for the penalty. There's actually been quite a bit of academic research about the homoerotic aspect of rugby stemming from the physical contact, camaraderie, locker room culture. And also we have got the Harry W. Seriously good sit. Awareness for that try. Yeah, he just kind of waited, didn't he? But Kalani Thomas, it looked like a crazy pass, but then it turned into a situation where it seemed like he knew what he was doing because it kind of worked out about as good as it could have. Oh, wow. So the Wars, when I saw it, they were 12-2 up. And already, in just that sentence, since the Wars were leading, they have become underdogs. I mentioned there's a long way to go. I didn't realise that was going to be a minute before they conceded. If Glasgow Warriors win today's match, the two South African coaches will be in semi-finals. Johan from Bath and Franco for Glasgow Warriors. So I guess they're holding that kind of resume of South Africans in quarterfinals and semi-finals of Champions Cups. Sadly, we have lost every single South African side from both competitions. All right, there is going to be the penalty going the way of the Crusaders now. Kalani Thomas, as he start over Louis Wershon. Good question, because Wershon's actually been in good form, right? From at least what we've seen. After that clown Matt Williams comments about Sale, I hope Sale can push Leinster. What did he say about them? Are you on Sir Hamish's payroll? Who's that? I'm not even on my payroll, unfortunately. Do you hope Crusaders win? I do. The higher the Crusaders finish, the more concerned the rest of the competition should be. And that's probably the reality of this team. You know, the higher up they finish, the more home games that they can have in playoff rugby, the more dangerous they will be as a whole. So for the competition's sake, you'd think that the Reds should need a victory here. But the Crusaders, they look like they have a different plan. Looking to get this rolling ball going. George Bell told to use it. Now gives it off to Noah Hotham. Back across to the right-hand side. Big shot on David Harvey. Seven Reece shovels it on. Johnny McNichol over the top. Che Fiaki will finish it off. And that is another try for the Crusaders. Crusaders says dunk. And Thomas Williams. The Crusaders doing nicely there with the back line. Just shoveling it on. How good was Love today? Not as good as Harkin. Harkin was on another level for that matchup. And the Harkin can play 10 as well, so I feel like he's definitely starting to put his name in the mix a little bit as well. Williams described Sale as lacking morality, decency, and respect for the game. So who did what for Sale then that made him so angry at them? He had a go at all the English clubs for cheapening the comp by sending weakened teams. Is that not what we've seen every country do? France, South Africa. Is that not literally what we've seen every team do? Even Bordeaux, when they have away games, sometimes send a slightly weaker side, don't they? They're the defending champs. And Anton Segner, I should have got man of the match, says Jordan. Who'd they actually give it to in the end? Because anyone other than Harkin, I would be surprised. The one's going to be kicked downfield off the kickoff. Crusaders are sitting on the 12 points. Reds on 14. This game's shaping up pretty similar to what we saw for the Fiji and Roa game. Actually, a little bit similar to what we saw between the Crusaders. Well, sorry, not the Crusaders, the Blues and the Hurricanes as well. They've all done it. Lensa rotate through the squad in the URC. Are they cheapening URC? Says Studs Race. Yeah, see, like, I think I don't actually know roughly who he actually is, Matt Williams, but I think he plays the role of trying to get people talking about him very well. Because, you know, the easiest way that guy, like I said, don't really know him. I know that he complains about South Africa quite a bit. But, like, if you literally just ignore him, it dies off. Not him, literally, but, you know, the amount of times that I'm sure there's been people on either X or Instagram who have tried to start up like a big rage bait post and have been ignored, and they go, oh, well, that sucked. I'm not going to do that again. And he's just one who everyone bites. That seems to, like, keep him, I guess, relevant. Callum Harkin got man of the match, as he should have. He had a very good game. Have you existed in the days before the internet? You would have paid for a pirate radio transmission in your shed doing the show 100%. Or you would have had a pirate radio transmitter, in your shed doing the show. Yeah, although at that stage I would have been a lot younger. You know, I don't think many people would have been listening to about a 4-year-old talk about rugby. Some people say that I still seem like a 4-year-old. Some of my takes. Sometimes I'm just happy to see that they're playing good rugby. Fluke is annoying. Matt Williams, let's go back to the rugbies in the 1990s. Like I do, says Studs Race. He's always playing the devil's advocate. Yeah, it's a little bit similar to, remember a while ago when the Breakdown did that whole, like, Geordie Barrett playing at a very low level of rugby or playing in a low-level competition overseas? Remember how that became like a whole global thing? Unfortunately, negativity sells. The way it's been for quite some time now. That's a good kick towards the touchline from Crusaders. It's off the penalty. They will have themselves a line out now, 40 metres out from the line. How good are the Canes playing right now? They're playing some phenomenal rugby. As a whole, Jamie Hanna, he's thrown that one over the top. His driving tackle on, I think that was Dom Gardner. Storm 12 was 12. I think we shouldn't have mentioned them because they have, conceded 2 tries since talking about them just before. All there for Fletcher and all. As I tell my students in my journalism classes, if it bleeds, it leads. Says Akaya. I've always wanted to play with a classic leather ball and see how it feels. Says Aussie guy, got an aerial challenge there between Super Reese and Dungunu, picked up by Hotham. Oh, tell you what, Dungunu was very close to getting himself the steal there, but he actually gave up on it. Referee didn't seem like he was going to be penalising him for it. Northampton Saints is out. Champions Cup and Pollock won't shush the crowd anymore. Won't shush the South African crowd. Why won't he shush the South African crowd? That one's going to be an off the feet there from the Crusaders. Penalty awarded to the Reds. So he's another quite funny part of the rugby game at the moment, Henry Pollock. The amount of people who have pure hatred feelings for a guy they've never met and literally doesn't have anything to do with them is quite amazing. But then that's just the world we live in too, isn't it? You know, he plays the devil's advocate, he plays the slightly annoying, younger, confident player, and the world hate him for it. Big time. We have good there, at least you can pronounce the surnames better than the commentators. Says, I know your surname's Campbell, by the looks of it. Same as Jocks. Where's Jock? Jock's at 15 today. Any relation? Probably not, but worth the question, I guess. Oh, Harry Wilson doesn't quite claim that one. Knocked it on. Picked up by Sever Reese, who does give it an almighty heave downfield. Nicely taken by Tim Ryan. Running back across to the right-hand side. Gives it to Carter Gordon. Now going for the kick in behind. Tell you what, it was close to a 50-22. I think it will be just outside. The Crusaders decide to take it quickly. Oh, Angus Gardner. There seems like a lot of confusion here. Okay, the referee initially was going to be on the outside of the 22, and which is why we saw the Crusaders be allowed to play on. That's very close. Why does Gilbert dominate the ball production market? Okay, so the referee on the assistant line told Angus Gardner that it was a 50-22, then has now taken his decision back and said, actually, no, it was outside. He's playing the part. One moment, folks are claiming they want more characters in the sport. When the characters come out, they get hated. I can't win, says Akai. Pretty much, yeah. Well, it's a bit similar to the R360 as well. We talked about it earlier on. People are like, we want to see rugby players get paid more. And then the R360 come along and they say, hey, we've got a whole heap of money. We'd like to buy some players and get them in our league. And everyone goes, no, we don't want them in that league getting millions of dollars. Get back to our leagues where we pay you much less because we don't want to see them get paid that much money from that location. It's a weird one. Now, Hotham goes back across. George Bell. Moving away to the right-hand side. David Harvili kicking this one down the middle of the field. Oh, beautifully controlled at the back from the Reds. Played Angus Gardner, says Dunk. And Henry Pollock winning at life, getting paid to play the game we love. And you need to take the piss out of the fans who hate him, says Fleshin. Yeah, he gets to do it quite often. Oh, that's an ugly one. That was a back body drop for anyone who knows a little bit of pro wrestling. He's actually just thrown him over his head. Dropped him on his back. That didn't look good at all. But it looks like it's play on for now. And we have there SARS Waz doing what the Waz do. So the question should be, are rugby fans the most fickle fans in professional sport? I don't think so. I think most sports are the same. But you do see it quite a bit for rugby fans at the moment, unfortunately. And some of them don't get shone in the best light and kind of rubs off on everyone. Do you think in the Highlanders game the ref won it for the Brumbies? Ow, that's a really hard landing, by the way. And like I said, back body drop. George Bell sends him up over the top, almost a suplex there from Jamie Hanna. The crowd are not happy about it one bit here. Pick Cody Taylor and Will Jordan for my fantasy. Good call. Terrible call, G Unit. Neither of them are playing. So, I don't think you could have picked the worst two players unless you were hoping that no one would get, in the negative. Maybe. I look up Toronto Maple Leafs fans. Shockers. Said Studs Rays. Yeah, the good news about rugby fans is that most don't get violent. At least, at the stadiums, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, don't get me wrong, the online fans, I think, are very different to the in-person fans. The ones who actually go to the stadiums, they don't seem to reach that same level. You know, you go to a game, you get entertained, you leave. And you go, yep, that's all good. But the ones online, they're the and loud is more painful and intimidating. There's a reason the Eden Park record exists, says Jordan. Can Crusaders win in the first half, do you think? Well, currently they're down by 2. They'll be all right, I think. I don't know whether or not they'll lead at halftime, because if we see one more try from the Reds, that might control this game a little bit more. But Crusaders have got themselves a scrum feet about 40 metres out from their line. I've realised I haven't really talked about the game that much, but it's been a bit of a stalemate over the last 5 minutes or so. Front row has collapsed. Now Hotham going to Taha Kimura. He's got the man on his outside. He goes for the chip in behind instead. That's a good bounce of the ball. It's actually gone into touch about 5 metres out from the Reds line. If Henry Pollock shushes the Johannesburg crowd, you're certainly going to hear it. No shush Johannesburg crowd, the Springboks will be more motivated, says Morne Lagrange. I'm sure they'd have more motivation than just a random 21-year-old shushing them, right? Surely they'd already be quite motivated in front of a whole home crowd cheering them on. My son got dogs abuse when he left his first club. I had to go to a bigger, better club, says Fleshin. Going off to the left-hand side. Ball is there for the Crusaders, but a drop ball, but they go back now for another advantage. This game has had quite a few of them. And we have got the other Wallabies shush the South African crowd, says Jordan. We have there, my research certainly shows our Hamish, who's different between online fans and fans at the matches. The anonymity, emboldens people. I can't say that word. Where's common sense? Landers yellow was dodgy. If anything, should have gone the other way, says keep it simple. Yeah, I never answered that one in the end. Yeah, that seemed like a pretty rough one against Henry Bell. I think you asked about it, right? Or did I miss? Did you ask about it earlier on? Did I miss it? Or was that someone else mentioned about the Highlanders yellow card? Maybe. But yeah, Henry Bell pretty hard done by. It's a tough day when you take a headbutt to the head and get yellow carded for it. And that is going to be the penalty. Oh, he's knocked it on. Noah Hotham decided to take the quick tap and go for the glory, but it has cost his side the ball. And now line break for the Reds. Hotham makes the tackle. That was a forward pass from the Reds blatantly in front of the touch judge, who, has now called it. We're at the traditional the rugby ball. Says Aussie guy, thank you very much for your donation. Greatly appreciated. No head-on-head contact should be a card. You just can't avoid that. Those, says the Sporting Kiwi. Wait, no, is that no comma head-on-head contact should be a card? You just can't avoid those? Or are you saying no head-on-head contact should be a card because you can't avoid those? Which I think it's maybe the first one, maybe. Very family friendly. I swore earlier today. That was our first swear word on the channel in quite some time. Whipped out a bad word. Yeah, it shouldn't be a card. Okay, I get you. And Hotham bungled that. Yeah. Big mistake, because that's the thing. The quick tap looked like it was on, but he fumbled it from the get-go, which then, of course, meant that he was in a bit of a predicament of having to try and regather when the opposition are only just out in front of him. Luckily for the Crusaders, though, they have got themselves another scrum feed here. Ball is going to be fed in. Hotham failing to do a Roy guard. Says dunk. Sever Reese goes across to David Harvey. Short ball, Leicester, Whainaunuku. He's dropped that ball as well. It is nearly half-time. Yeah, this first half has gone very quickly. Tim Ryan now running very quickly towards the Crusaders line. He's jumped a Fiaki on the outside for pace. He's looked for the offload, but it's not back, says the referee, Taha Kimura, the man who does clean it up. Nice, have you tried a Welsh breakfast? Says Vleshin. Now pass across to David Havili. Now Leicester Whainaunuku. This game's really opening up now. Passes across to Sever Reese. Chipping it downfield off the left, but it has gone right off the side of the boot and into touch. Just got to be realistic and realise the real time and what the game has played instead of slowing it down to show the head-on-head contact in real time is unavoidable. Yeah, I feel like that slow motion replay half the time doesn't actually give you an indication of how quickly it's happened. Like it's like a quarter of a second that they show all the frames from. And of course, some things are going to look worse in slow motion. Meters gained 146 so far for the Reds here. Let's go Reds. Says Haino. Now throwing this one in. If you want to come on for a halftime chat, Haino, let me know. Jason was keen on hearing another musical number. Going Kalani Thomas now. Way to the right-hand side. And Otham and Sister, our awesome footy player, says Shane. The leather balls absorb water and got heavy. My old man used to say, says Aussie guy. Now going back across to the right. Looking for the grubber there. Nichols. It's been struggling to get that one away. Or Johnny McNichol, I should say, sorry. Why can't I see my own reflection in a mirror? That's because you're a vampire, Jason. I think that's the only logic, right? Unless it's a window. Thought about that. Now, if you can see something that isn't you on the outside, you're possibly just looking through that window. But now I'm going in behind. Nice take from Johnny McNichol. Bag wide. Loopy. Pass across almost half length of the field. Sever Reese now cutting back in. Passes on the inside. Another drop ball. This time from Christian Leo Willie. Similar to an English one. But you have fried cockles and lava bread. What's a fried cockle? Sounds interesting. This is so ugly. It's not the smoothest running game, isn't it? But boy, is it going by quickly. I can't believe we're 37 minutes through. And that might be because of all the rubbish that we've talked. If the window open, because he is a stank pyre. And chronic dropsies. Shellfish, says Fleshin. They've got a few of the 2011 Reds in at the moment. It's 15 years since they won their championship. They haven't taken it out the box yet. Seems logical, I guess. Yeah, it was actually up against the Crusaders as well, they've just said. Digby Ioane. Can you go to jail for showing the game? Possibly. I'd really not want to find out, but you can get done for copyright infringement. They normally show you, like I know for like pay-per-view events, they have like the big thing. I don't know about that. I have some work to do. Says Hano. That's fair enough. Is it a good crowd? Decent crowd overall. Like Suncorp's always going to look like it's half by empty because of the pure amount of seats, but like I think it looks all right in terms of numbers. If you're in the North Island, close your windows. There's allegedly a cyclone. I don't believe it. I think there is. I think that it's been kind of talked about quite a bit. Luckily, it seemed to miss some of Fiji because Latoka hadn't really dealt with it as of yet. Is that all cyclones you don't believe in, the Sporting Kiwi, or just the one that they've said about now? 2 minutes remaining. Stay high and square. George Bauer went straight down in the front. But Hunter by Sami nice inside ball to Filipa Dangunu, now passes across to Fluke. Great tackle from Taha Kimura. And it's another knock on. Chronic dropsies, as someone called it earlier on. And they're right about that. What a line, says Hano. What about the South Island? It's not supposed to hit us in the South Island that much, but we're still supposed to get quite a bit of rain and whatnot, I believe. Ruben Love would die if he couldn't see himself in the mirror, says Jason. And also just this one. So what is it about this one specifically that you don't believe in? Like you just don't want one now, or you just think they're making it up? And Marlborough getting hot. Marlborough is going to get harder, or hit harder than some North Island spots. I didn't realise it was a competition for like who gets hit by a cyclone the hardest. I didn't know that that was something that you want to win. If wear headgear, you can't hear the calls. So here's Morgrel. Now ball's going to be fed in by the Crusaders again. 50 seconds remaining. Bollocks says heptagonal. Which one for? Like Marlborough or for Ruben Love or for headgear? Well, we are always forgotten. But once again, still like not really a competition. You know? I don't think I've ever heard someone say, you know what, I want to get hit by a little bit more bad weather so that I finally get acknowledged by the country. Like, surely it's like, we preferred nice weather. What swear word did you say, Hamish? It wasn't a bad one. It was the S word, you know. Back to Mighty Williams for my fantasy. Good call. Great call. He won't get any minuses. He just won't also get any pluses because he's not playing. For the Cyclone hitting Marlborough. Yeah, I get you. I don't like box kicks, but who was the best box kicker in Super Rugby? Tell you what, they might look to just kick this one towards the sideline, and they do there, Carter Gordon. And that is going to be the end of the first half. 14 points to 12 now between these two sides. We'll come back to that in a very short moment. I heard Hamish swear on the channel this morning. Says Mohdeen. Crusaders playing hot potato, may need Velcro, says Hein Campbell. Yeah, they haven't really done too well in terms of catching either of these sides, actually, to be fair. But yeah, in terms of box kicking, who would I give it to in Super Rugby? Roygaard's normally pretty good at spotting how deep he has to go with his box kicks, and also just those kicks like next to the ruck in general. Thoughts on Henry Pollock? We actually mentioned him earlier on. I kind of said the gist of it was, I find it absolutely incredible how much people hate someone who they've never met. And, like, they just full on, like, despise the young guy for having a little bit of cockiness and confidence. But it's quite... But the thing is, half of the people don't like Henry Pollock because of fake headlines that they've read. Like, you go on Facebook and all of them are like fake ones about Henry Pollock, like bad-mouthing the All Blacks and bad-mouthing the Springboks and bad-mouthing the French and the Irish and everyone. Like all fake headlines, fake quotes, everything. And people go, he must have said that because it said it on Facebook. I hate him now. And they get really, really grumpy about it. We have got there, swearing can be side effect of steroid use. Maybe they're hating a person based on media, judge them on his playing. See, it's Sakaya there. Jasmine was mentioned by Martin Devlin. Jasmine Felix Hotham, or Jasmine is in like the one here? Jasmine in the chat. Harsh shape, but worst 40 minutes of rugby I've seen in a while. One highlight was the Crusaders forward tracking back for fantastic try-saving tackle, says Studs Rays. Can I be honest? Even though we were commentating it at times, I know I missed quite a bit, but it was a weird one because it went by so quickly. Normally, like when you get a game, sometimes it just feels like it drags a little bit if it's not the best rugby. But this one went really fast-moving system. After the southeast by midday Monday, not hovering over New Zealand, says Septagonal Ghost. 1 second, I'm about to sneeze, so I'll quickly hide off to the side and mute. Right, we are good. I should also ask Bushpig, what do you think of Henry Pollock? I realise that I answered the question, but I didn't ask you back. Everyone hated late great Kobe for no reason. I remember when they gave Nash the MVP instead of Kobe. Favourite Super Rugby final? Ooh. I don't know. That's a tricky one. Because like I said, my memory in recent months has gone downhill. So I can only remember the last 2 Super Rugby finals. Everything before then, I literally have gone blank. I know that, what one was Highlanders Hurricanes? Was that close in the end? Northampton done a bit dirty with the Pollock yellow last night. Saw him some debate, but I didn't see the incident. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either, unfortunately. I only saw the highlights, but I don't think my highlight package actually showed him getting the yellow card. And also we have got their rubbish talk. About players is not nice. Says Ruth. In 2015, Landers won. Says Bushpig. And we have got the cyclone is meant to leave nearly 3 times as fast as it arrives. This is BTW Padza. And by the way, go Queensland, says Heptagonal Ghost. Now, yeah, first half already done and dusted. We are red, as in not Crusaders. Memory loss is a sign of steroid use. That's kind of sad though, isn't it? Because I haven't used any steroids, but if I had known that I was going to lose my memory at the same rate, at least I could have been slightly more muscly by this stage, couldn't I? We have got, a few years ago in Blenheim, we got a 50 mil of rain in 1 hour in the middle of the day. It was crashing through roofs, and there was a flash flood, and all the streets were covered. And I got go to the game with a Henry Pollock t-shirt when he tore South Africa Cape Town Stadium. Exactly, and totally contrary to the ethos of rugby. Critique is fine. Character assassinations aren't, says Akai. I believe it's the one where they talk about Rico Ioane, Jasmine. Says the Sporting Kiwi. Pure Entertainment, 1999-2007. Super Rugby finals were absolutely fantastic. Says Studs Rays. Well, that's the kind of good thing about slightly losing my memory a little bit, if there is a slight bonus, is the fact that I'll get to watch a whole heap of games that I should have, or I've already seen, that I don't remember the results of. Which is, I guess, something, right? That's one positive. Who holds the Super 12 Cup? When was it last Super 12? It would have been back in about 2000 and not much, wouldn't it? It's been Super 14. When was it Super 12? 2005, 2006? Somewhere around there? Was that Super 12? They're just showing that Carter Gordon try. It was a bit loose from both sides, actually, when it led to the try. They're going for the kick in behind. We have got their 2011 Super Rugby final. Was pretty good. Just don't forget a person's birthday. My ex would vouch for that, Hamish. Says Jason. Yeah, I got reminders on my phone for that, though, which is good. And the Highlanders winning Wellington was the amazing final. Obviously, my Chiefs back in 2012 and 2013 was amazing. And just check, we're meant to get 70 mil. And I joke, but seriously, Crusaders have won enough. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mentioned about it for this game, how if the Crusaders win this match, they straight away look towards the potential of a home playoff game. And they also, imagine if the Crusaders are the lucky loser. You know, top 6 go through to the playoff games. I'm just going to quickly look at the updated table because the one that I've got at the moment isn't quite updated. So I'll tell you the changes. Hurricanes are back sitting in number 1, but the Chiefs are second. Then it is Blues, then it is Brumbies. Then the Reds and Crusaders are 5 and 6. But, you know, Crusaders, if they win this game, they go up to more than likely 23 points. I don't think I'd give them a bonus point from this game. The Reds would also end up on 23 points. And that kind of creates a really big separation between the top 6 and everyone else. The next highest would be the Waratahs, sitting there on 14 points. So there's already at the moment 5 points separating the top 8 and the top 6 and the bottom 5. And if the Crusaders win this game, that gap becomes about 8 points with only a matter of rounds left. Now we have got there, just like DuPont, Hurricanes doing it and doing it well. And also only the one better is Roygaard. And saw a stat that the Chiefs have lost 4 finals matches in the past 3 seasons. Going to be a record. Says Studs Race. Yeah, well, they were the first team ever to be added back into the competition, right? To then, unfortunately, still end up losing it. But you just get that feeling like the Chiefs, they can't keep on being that good and not take out the title. Like, it's got to be coming. I love that you're as dirty as me with the table maths, Hamish, the Septagonal Ghost. It's a tricky one to add up normally mid-round, but luckily now that we're at the end of the round, it's a little bit easier with the old maths. And I saw a stat. Chiefs have lost 4 finals. Oh, no, I read that one just then, didn't I? We have got there, no, not at all. It's just jealousy, kind of like he doesn't play for us, so he must be bad. Says Kaya there. Second half of this contest is not an absolute mile away. Currently, the score is sitting 14 points to 12 in favour of the Reds. Now, I will mention we have got 2 more games happening around the corner, ladies and gents, one of which is going to be that matchup between, it is the Glasgow Warriors and Toulon. And then the other game that has taken place is Leinster versus Sale Sharks. So we are going to be covering both of those games on the channel. And then also alongside that, probably some Champions and Challenge Cup, hopefully tomorrow. That will be taking place later on. Bordeaux versus Toulouse. And then maybe Exeter Chiefs versus Benetton if we can squeeze it in beforehand. I didn't notice it was halftime. That either just means that we've been talking way too much like random stuff throughout the actual game, or for you as well, it's gone very quickly. It's probably the first one though. We got off topic quite a bit, but it's because of all the drop balls. You know, every time it looks like there's a little bit of momentum starting to come back into the game, we get drawn in, and then someone just drops it. We've got the 118 watching. Hit that like button, says Septagonal Ghost. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We, of course, have got Super Rugby next weekend. Some brilliant games. Blues versus Highlanders on Friday night. Some big overlaps because Hong Kong 7's going to be taking place as well. And we have got there, but you say that about one of their players. The names I've been calling, or called for merely pointing out somebody didn't play up to their usual standard, just a rivet. Says Akai there. And also we have got there, can you check if Lawakai has woken up yet, please? Well, I'd have to hope that he has. Also, the Wars are winning, ladies and gentlemen, but they are still considered as underdogs, even though they are leading at halftime. Hey, Hamish, what's up, buddy? Can New Zealand win this Bangladesh ODI series with the B squad? Who have they got in their team coding? I haven't actually seen yet. Those games must be coming up in the very near future, right? I think they're probably next weekend. Next weekend is absolutely insane. Yeah, 5 days, 18 hours away. They play on Friday night, then they play on Monday, which is just like, it's in what is already a very busy kind of area. I'm going to go on to see whether or not. 1 second. Where would I go? We go Black Caps. They announced their team. I assume that they have, right? Because you've said about them. Black Caps. What we got? Starting 11. What's that for? Oh, that's for New Zealand A. Team update. Oh, there it is. Squad for the ODIs and the T20s. Found it. I have the Wires by 12 or less. Well, they're currently doing 12 or less, so they're starting at least. So that's a bonus. So can we go here? We'll go there as well. I'm just praying for the Wires win, please. And some of his Wires is close, 4-point game at halftime. Can I say the score without saying who was winning? Oh, we know the score. I think I just mentioned it. It's a bit of a spoiler, unfortunately. Like me, not you. In that case, wasn't as many drop balls and errors as the Brumbies Highlanders game last night. Yeah, it sounds like I didn't miss much from that game. Because, I was initially going to find a fill-in. But then I was like, I'll just leave it. I'll see what happens. And then, yeah, it was far from the best one. Surely all the off-game chat is indicative of the game. The match was riveting. The chat would be about that. So, yeah, Zakaya. Yeah, it feels like we just haven't quite found the first really big focus moment for these two sides, if that makes sense. Yeah, main international cricket start after IPL ends. And Landers vs Brumbies was so boring, not going to lie. Says BTW Padza. It was about 7-3 at half time, right? Second half of this game, I would say, is not a mile away from starting up. Okay, Brad Davis here, the assistant coach of the Reds, is just saying that he's happy with how his side was able to bounce back after conceding very early. It just seems like this game, it's anyone's for the taking, because there's just that feeling like one big break or one big mistake will completely change this one. Okay, the Reds have said they want to go after it. They're going to play their sort of game. That could lead to quite an entertaining start to the second half. How much more streams coming for this day and weekend? So we've got 2 more tonight. Next one taking place in around, must be 3.5 hours time. So by the time this game finishes, I think there's about a 2.5 hour break before getting back into it. And then tomorrow, I think there's maybe 2 or so, 2 or 3. I think 2 tomorrow night. What's your thoughts between the Super Rugby and Premier League in the UK? Great vlog. Loving it. While travelling, cheers, mate. Tell you what, the perfect, example and indication of how good the Premiership can be. Northampton versus Bath in the Champions Cup quarterfinal. As soon as I saw that it was 2 Premiership sides going head-to-head, you just know you're going to get a just entertaining game from start to finish. I feel like there are similarities between the Premiership and Super Rugby a bit. It depends on who's playing, though. This game definitely hasn't been the best example of what Super Rugby can offer, but I feel like there's still going to be a bit of a finish in this contest too as the second half gets underway. Taha Kimura has received that ball inside of the 22 for the Crusaders and boots it straight into touch. First line out of the second half goes the way of the Reds. Why does Super Rugby complain about low viewership and play 2 teams against each other on a Saturday and have the Brumbies game is at 5 p.m. Canberra time on a Friday? It should have been played on a Saturday, Yeah, I was a bit confused about the way that they've scheduled this weekend. Today, we've had 4 games in a row, which is the only time that happens throughout all of the rounds. And, nice cellular dummy there from Kalani Thomas. Goes for the kick and behind. Chance here for the Reds. Early bounce of the ball was not favourable, but it may not have been a knock-on. In which case, the Reds may have just scored this. See, I told you about Thomas. Says Jordan. What game? Bath versus Northampton for the Champions Cup quarterfinal. I nailed it. Everything. Entertaining. Just joined. Cheers. You have a great eye. Says, was there from Moisey? Is it Mosey rather than Moisey? But yeah, that game was incredible. And if all of the other games, or even one of them, then to be fair, if any of the other games were going to live up to that kind of expectation, I really hope it's Toulouse versus Bordeaux. Two sides that just have had such a great run throughout the last 12 months. If they play each other and have a game like they did in that Premiership head-to-head, I think I'm going to lose my voice easily. Jock Campbell lining up the strike at the post now. 19 points to 12 at the moment. 2 minutes passed in the second half. So, the coach wasn't lying when he said they're going to come out firing. Although the kick has missed away to the right. So Jock Campbell hasn't been able to add the additional 2. That's actually his first miss of the day, but 19 points to 12. Why does Super Rugby refuse to play Sunday games? It's a perfect time slot, no club rugby or anything. Yeah, I don't know. They did it a little bit last year, didn't they? Or a little bit more than they did this season. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind not playing it is. Like, I honestly would have liked to see, in this case, 4 games in a row, like I said, chuck Moana Pacifica versus Chiefs as a Sunday game rather than on the Saturday. Now, ball on the inside. Dungunu, this is now really opening up for the Reds. Jock Campbell, he's going to do it all himself. He may have got that down, but at the same time, that also kind of looked like he had a bit of a fumble in the last moment. He's taken his time to get back up to his feet. Tell you what, they obviously heard whoever said that it was going to be a bit of a boring first half, because they have come out absolutely rapid in the second here. Right, Jock Campbell's limping a little bit. Hamish, you dog, get some sleep soon. I don't think I will get any sleep until about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I got another 8 hours up or so. And, kind of bounces it like a basketball there, Jock Campbell. There's Northampton basketball score, terrible defence, only 74 tackle percentage. Yeah, but it was bloody good to watch, wasn't it? I don't know if he's got this down, Jock Campbell. The referee was sure for a start, but now they are going to be going upstairs. Carter Gordon showtime. Says Shane. What are the Crusaders up to? Are they trying to be funny or something, says Sock? Yeah, they're certainly not playing like the Crusaders of old in the start of the second half. They're going to be checking this one, though. I don't know if Jock Campbell has been able to bend his arm in a way to be able to put that ball down. It does look very close to a grounding, though, so it's all going to come down to probably interpretation from the TMO. He might control it with a pinky, but that's about all. They're looking for separation. Okay, the ball travels backwards, though. And then I think it was placed by Noah Hotham. Montpellier versus Connacht predictions. I actually don't know about that game. Montpellier, I would think, should be hard to beat at home. But Stade Francais, from losing their game in the round of 16, I think really confused everyone in terms of that kind of style that we see from French sides when they play at home, and that kind of backing that they always seem to do nicely. Okay, Sunday Arvo games would be perfect. Let's keep it simple. Okay, clear separation. Restart will be a goal line dropout. Score goes back to 1912. And the Crusaders potentially a bit of a lifeline there for what has been a terrible start to the second 40 minutes. 3 minutes in already, and that was almost the second try for the Reds. What was the little scuffle between Ruben Love and 15 for the Blues? They both have egos, Zahn Sullivan and Ruben Love, so obviously there was something about who's better than who. Ruben Love probably got the last laugh in the end because the side was able to win with the bonus point, but yeah, there's obviously some sort of little rivalry going on there. I don't think it would be too serious. Like, those two boys are probably going to be in the same side in the future as well if they want to represent New Zealand. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips, he will make his way on for Carter Gordon. A little bit of an early change here for the Reds. About 40 metres out from the line, here comes Harry Wilson with that classic run forward like he normally does. Few says studs race. Yeah, that try there could have actually changed this game quite a bit. I mean, looking at 14 down for the Crusaders. Still plenty of time remaining. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips, first carry for him. Tackled by Hotham. The Easter fixtures were non-existent. What's up with that? It was just down to pretty much playing a little bit of catch-up for certain sides. But it's worked out that, all the other rounds have pretty much got the 5 games. Some have got 4. But I think it was just so that they could have a bit of a quieter weekend and get it kind of sorted back to all the sides roughly the same games. So it's pretty much just the sides playing that hadn't had a bye, I believe. Oh, nice run there from George Bell to about 40 metres out from the try line. Now going back across to the left, Jamie Hanna. Done a huge amount with ball in hand throughout this game. And David Havili going for the kick in behind. It's gone straight over the top of Tim Ryan. Almost went into touch. He's managed to keep the ball in the field of play, but put himself under pressure in the process. Sever Reese chasing after him. McLaughlin Phillips does very well under pressure, but it will become a line out here for the Crusaders, about 25 metres out from the Reds line. This is now the time where the Crusaders, they have to show that experience that certain players on the field have. Someone like a Johnny McNichol. Not so much for Super Rugby, but just in general. That man has been around for a very long time. You've got someone like a George Bower, like a David Havili, Sever Reese. Haven't got Cody Taylor, haven't got Will Jordan. And straight away, it's fallen straight into the same category that some people have talked about, where they just don't look like the same side without Will Jordan. And that's the sad reality they have at the moment. And also not having Cody Taylor, of course. Having both of those guys gone is quite a big hit. Red's on that good stuff, all power to them. Says Sock there. I love 5 from 5 ticket. And Christian Leo Willie. Says Nico there. They just shown there 100 matches for Filippo Nangunu. Throughout Super Rugby Pacific so far, he's had 14 defenders beaten, 5 line breaks, 7 turnovers, 1. Have you ever been to Rotorua? I don't think so. Not that I know of anyway. And Rugby losing the crowd battle? Or is Rugby losing the crowd battle? As in like getting numbers to stadiums and whatnot? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because Super Rugby, I think even last year, nice step from Jamie Hanna, the big lock. Yeah, last year I think they had record numbers in terms of viewers and everything along those lines. Oh, that was close to the touchline for Che Fiaki. But stadium attendance seemed like it was that little bit lower. So, of course, it never looks good on the TV, but a lot of people are watching it on the TV. The Easter Bunny was non-existent during Easter weekend also. So here's Jason, big driving tackle again. Now across to the left, to Hakimura. Good ball to Lester Whainanuku has Sever Reese with him, now finds him. Johnny McNichol puts it on the inside. Oh, another knock on. Yeah, whatever's happened to the ball here today. I want to chuck that one away. Sever Reese, I think, nailed the drop kick from the sideline. Was asking for the 3 points, but that ball was already dropped by Johnny McNichol at that point. Yeah, getting people along to the game. I think it's just something that seems to be a lot harder to do nowadays. Okay, that's the Carter Gordon injury there. Looked like he had a player land pretty hard on his back. It's one playmaker. Says MPT. Yeah, we're just seeing the replay there. Joe Bryle. Might have been just that little extension of the leg. After bumping off the tackle attempt of Corey Callow. I guess while we're looking at injured players, we might as well mention the injured players for these two sides. For the Crusaders, Kyle Preston, knee injury, out for another 2 to 4 weeks. Braden Enor, he is out for another 2 to 4 weeks with hamstring. Ethan Blackadder, 3 to 4 weeks. Tell you what, they're going to have a lot of guys returning just before the playoffs. Concussion to be confirmed for Aki Tui Vailala. Will Jordan calf to be determined. Cody Taylor, hamstring to be determined. Cullen Grace, knee to be determined. James White to Mikey Williams, both to be determined. The good news is they haven't really got too many out for the season, although I think a few of those to be confirmed might be actually out for the season, but they just haven't said it per se. Tate McDermott, he is still out, one of the bigger injuries for the Reds. Why has the score 24, says Aino? Because the scoreboard doesn't want to take the points off the Reds by the looks of it. Liam Jack is also out, yes. One's going to be put into touch. A nice clearing kick there, about 47 minutes. And all thought about going for the quick throw there. Johnny McNichol decides against it in the end. And Gordon Carter, get him Canterbury. A line out here for the Crusaders. Jamie Hanna. Done well on line outs. Roger, you good thing. Up the wires. So here's BTW Padson now going away to the left-hand side. Hotham goes across to Havili. Now Christian Leo Willie to the halfway line. Just slowly and methodically trying to work their way down the field. The Crusaders get themselves a bit of possession. Now Reese throws it back on the inside to Taha Kimura. Okay, there's Aino. Yes, RTS, there's Sock. Back across to the left, Hotham. Going on to Hakimura again. Johnny McNichol looking for the grubber in behind. Sevu Reese. It was an awkward bouncing one. Oh, he's been bundled into touch by Filippo Dungunu, who goes over, gives him a bit of a high five for it. Saying the Crusaders at the moment a little bit flat-footed in this contest. They're almost going for too many little grubbers and chips and whatnot, and the Reds are actually reading most of it. Seems to be one of their big problems at this point in time. Bang, bang, forward the Deli M. Says BTW Padza. A big shot on Fraser McWright by, was George Bauer. I'm told to use it again. Kalani Thomas sends it up high. You haven't yawned in a while, Amish. Are you losing your touch? Says Jason. I think I just yawned just before you finished writing that, didn't I? That one's going to be put into touch off the Crusaders. And it's counted as out on the full as well. Hate the Warriors, they are pathetic and looseless. The truth is they'll never win. Says Jordan. Who do you hate more, the Warriors or the Highlanders? They're just talking about the potential of a knock-on from the Crusaders first. That Stowers boy. Like all them Stowers boys hard. Says Sock. Looks like a change. Zane Ungor making his way onto the field. That is for Nick Bloomfield. Jinx says Jason. Line out for Matty Faisler. And that one's not straight from the Reds. Glasgow Warriors worse than the Highlanders, says Haino there. And go the Reds, says Kevin. Don't kick it, run it, and finish. Awhana Nuku. Looks like Taha Kimura is going to be going for the ball nice and high here. The mark is called. This game was quick for a second, and now we've kind of gone back to almost that slightly slower, methodical type of feeling here. Not sure who was swearing at Dungunu there. We have got, there you go, the Reds, says Kevin. They are doing nicely at the moment. They are sitting 7 points ahead. A few more changes being made now for the Crusaders. I do see, I believe it was Finley Brewis. The slow game suits the Reds. Yeah, I don't think they'll be minding this kind of tempo too much at all. I also do see Louis Chapman. He has made his way onto the field. I see the Melbourne Storm are only $6 underdogs, which tells you how much they're backing the Warriors to be able to hang on at the end of that game. Now David Harvey goes across to Christian Leo Willie. To halfway. Chapman goes back left. Now slinging past there. That was from the replacement Taylor Cahill. Sevu Reese running down the wing. Goes for the kick inwards. And it's gone straight into the hands of Filippo Dungunu. You know what I just mentioned about how we've seen the Crusaders kick that ball away aimlessly quite a few times throughout this match. Okay, the foot was in touch from Sevu Reese anyway there. Enjoy your mosquitoes, says Jason. Finals footy strangled Reds for the win. But yeah, just that foot going down for Sevu Reese over the sideline. Still anyone's game, says Jasmine. It certainly is. Could easily go either way for these two sides. Sevu Reese isn't quite at his best day at the office. Although I think that is the same that you could say about a majority of these Crusaders boys. Just haven't really been able to find their rhythm whatsoever. A line out for Richie Asiata, who has just made his way on. Thrown in, nice take. From Salakai Lotto, who looks a little bit slower getting back up to his feet after being dropped in the line out. Being told to use it again. Kalani Thomas. That one goes up high. Bouncing ball goes sideways. What about the steal? Chapman still has it there for this Crusader side, who have had a little bit more of the possession throughout the second half than the first. But there's still not a lot coming back at the Reds' defence. Oh, a partial charge down from Lukan Salakaia-Lotto, trying to slap it back was Harry Wilson, but it has gone to Crusaders number 20 in this case. That is Johnny Lee. Now 50-22 attempted. I don't think it will be, though. I think it was from inside. Oh, no, it was at 50-22. Now line out. Time has been called. As well, the Crusaders, more changes are about to be made if the Crusaders win Super Rugby again. Let's say they win 3 out of the next 4 years. Do you reckon Super Rugby would genuinely consider kicking them out? Do something because it's getting boring? Because no one will care. Am I just delusional, salty Aussie? To be fair, like, people even in the last couple years have said that they've stopped watching because the Crusaders always win. So, like, it's one of those ones that I always consider it to be the best, you got to beat the best, and that is to beat the Crusaders in the final. Now, whether or not the Crusaders get to the final, that's their choice. You know, they either make it or they don't. If they don't, then you win the title without them being there. But, you know, it will be whoever's that side that take down this Crusaders team in playoff rugby, whether that's in Christchurch or whether that's going to be a home game for the other team. That will be that big statement passing of the torch game. Currently 20 metres out from the line. The Crusaders still with the ball, and they have got themselves the penalty advantage here as well. What happened to the Wires so far this second half? Well, they have done very nicely. They're actually similar to what we saw from the Reds at the start, although I don't think they've disallowed any Warriors tries yet. Hopefully not anyway. I'm close to heating up some curried sausages. So here's Jason. Why only close to it? Are you like waiting for a certain time, or maybe you're waiting for it to be a certain point in the game so that when it finishes, they're ready? Now there's Reihana. This one over the sideline. This one will be about 7 metres out from the line. Yeah, the advantage turning into another penalty. That's starting to add up a little bit against this red side. George Bell throws the ball in, nicely taken by Jamie Hanna at line-out time. Well, he's actually lost the numbers off the back of his jersey. There would normally be a 2 there. Louis Chapman. This is where they have to make a big decision. It looks like they're going to opt to try and go rolling maul all the way here for the Crusaders, and they're over the line. And they score the try with George Bell. Are we over there? Curry sausages is code. For hot. George Bell scores the try there. It is now going to be a chance to add the additional 2. And this would bring us back to 1919. Seems like the type of game that is going to go right down to the wire here. Let's go New Zealand. There's Shane there. At least Stefan Anuku, he actually joined the line out there for a second. Seems to be the thing at the moment that they're kind of trying out. Second, we will go like that. And like that as well. Now lining up this strike, bringing it back around, and it does go over for Reves Reihana. And that is now going to make the score 19 points to 19. Crusaders a title drought from 2009-17. Wonder how new stadium playing under the roof will affect home winter dominance. Says Studs Race. Yeah, it will be intriguing because, of course, this Crusaders side will want to make sure that they make it pretty much their home straight away. You know, they've got their super round game up against the Waratahs. The worst case scenario is to drop that game off the get-go and then have a 0% winning rate at your new stadium. But first they have to get through this game. To be fair, the Reds have been pushing them, but the one thing that's been hurting the Reds the most here is that lack of possession. Went to the gym at midnight last night. Says Jasmine, that seems relatively late for a gym sesh. It's a knock on there from the Crusaders again. 25 minutes remaining, and the scores are equal between these two sides. Do still have a few more games around the corner, ladies and gents. The next one will be Glasgow Warriors versus Toulon. That has taken place in the early stages. Surely you're going to Super Round. No more perfect time. See loads of rugby live. No. Would have been if I was more organised, but no. I won't be going to it. I will be covering it on the channel, though. Just from about 3 hours from the stadium. All the teams to lose. To our home, please, not the Tars. And also up the wires, currently 36 points to 14. Says Highlanders fan. And Kalani Thomas. Had to put this ball in Harihone as said, come on, New Zealand. Scrum's standing pretty strong at the moment. Being told to play, Harry Wilson goes across to Hunter Paisami. You plan to go to the World Cup in Aussie next year or to experience? Or too expensive, I assume that is. Yeah, I'm not going to be going to. I know quite a few people are. But we're going to be doing what we did in 2023, and that's just covering it on the channel. We have got there. I was going this morning, but before I went to the Chiefs game, but wanted to wake up later. So here's Jasmine. There's another stoppage in this game for yet again another knock on. It's been one of the ugliest close games we've seen in a while. Well, these two sides, where's that Sada 7 called Johnny? He's in the number 20 jersey for this game. He is out there on the field now. So to get himself the double on debut, Johnny Lee. Looks like he's actually packing down as a number 8 here on the field for Christian Leo Willie. I think I also saw Lester Whainaunuku was packing on the side of the scrum. Doing the Black Ferns. Potentially not. And the only reason behind that is pretty much next week I won't be able to cover their game more than likely due to the overlaps with a few of the other matches that we are going to be covering and when I am sleeping. And then I think the round after that, it also is going to be overlapping with Super Rugby for the New Zealand versus Australia game. So it's kind of annoying that the games don't work out nicely, but I didn't want to start a competition that I don't actually get to finish. Is Mark from 2 Cents heading over for the World Cup? Not that I know of. I haven't heard anything. But he could be. Going to the gym at midnight is proof of steroid dealing, says Studs Rowe. Another box kick, this time coming from Louis Chapman. Over these sides trying to play not to lose rather than to play to win at this stage. Nice take out. That would have hurt. That would have really hurt the leg. And I think Super Reese wanted to take that one quickly. The mark was called. Jock Campbell, it was an awkward one to the leg. I think there was a bit of a debate there about whether or not that was a late shot. Going to see here. He was committed, they say. You could actually, on the technicality, say that Jock Campbell hasn't caught that ball. In which case, that would actually mean that Sever Reese, as annoying as he was trying to be in terms of getting that ball, he was actually within his right to grab that ball. Because the mark, of course, you have to make sure that you catch. Although, to be fair, it was in the process of being caught when he dropped it too. So I think they've counted it as the mark. 38-14 for the Wars. Yeah, they've come out with a hiss and a roar in the second half, it would seem. Doing very well. Okay, a couple of changes are about to be made. It seems like Kalani Thomas is off. So is Aidan Ross. There's going to be for Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen and also Wershon will make his way off the bench. Okay, Angus Gardner just says there, Jock Campbell, you'll see it when you go look at the replay. In other words, stop asking for a penalty that I'm not going to give you. Time remaining, says Hardest at the moment, 22 minutes remaining here. So, a pretty decent amount of time left. And we have got there, Storm 14 was a 36. Says, keep it simple. Nice take there from Dom Gardner. Game's still well and truly up for grabs here. Reves Rehana does put it up high, nicely contested in the air, but another knock on. Going to be the scrum for the Reds. How many knock-ons have we had in this game? I actually don't want to count. But it seems like neither side can take a high ball. Neither side can take a long pass. Neither side can catch a chip and chase. Neither side can regather their grubbers. But it's 19-19, and there's probably going to be some very exciting rugby for the last 20. Even outside of those knock-ons and whatnot. So that's something to look forward to. We see their handling errors, I think, just popped up. I think it was 11-6 in terms of the numbers, which isn't the ideal scenario. Where to see it for free. Super Rugby YouTube channel. Just have this game free depending on where you are in the world. Who'll be favourites? Chiefs vs Canes next week. Chiefs will be at home, says Jasmine. Tricky one, really, because I think that the Canes have certainly played like a side that could come into that game as a favourite. Nice take from Johnny McNichol at the back. But they'll probably give it to the Chiefs just because it's their home field, like you said. Nice take there from Jock Campbell. Passes across to Harry McLaughlin Phillips, running straight at Leicester Whananuku. He's been a bit anticlimactic in this game so far. Were there ever a draw between these two sides? There was very close to a draw quite a few years ago, but Louis Chapman kicking that one in behind, looking for the 50-22. That one's going to have to bounce it a touch, and it does just that. Very nice kick from Louis Chapman. But if it is a draw, we'll go to Golden Point, which means that this game is far from over. The most productive time to go to the gym is any time it is open, I'm guessing, says Jason. And good night, says Jordan. We will see you later. And while that magic kick, well, odds will be close to 150, 180 kind of odds. Carter Gordon has got crutches here. So that's not looking too flash for that man's season at the moment. As soon as you give him crutches, that can be anything between a few weeks and a few months. Isaac Henry has made his way onto the field for Jock Campbell. That is actually an HIA replacement. Now, Campbell took a knock to the leg. So something about that either makes me think they labelled it wrong or the Reds are slightly milking it to still have the option of bringing him back later if his leg's all right. Now, we're Sean rolling this ball back. Most gym are 24/7 now. We have to have be 18 or over during non-staffed hours. One has been put into touch. Who will win? Or will you win? Plenty of time to win, says Shane. Yeah, I'm not sure who's actually going to kind of secure this game. Because there's too many errors from both sides. We have the Crusaders need to win. I don't want to draw, for the sake of the table. If the Crusaders win this game, we get to see 8 points separating the top 6 and the other teams. And that would almost be enough to all but confirm top 6, I would think, at this stage of the comp. Now Chapman goes back across to the left-hand side to Johnny Lee, tackled by Fraser McWright and Harry Wilson. Draw works for me, says Heptagonal Ghost. Warriors doing unknown right now. Yeah, they're doing phenomenally in the game. Who scored the last try? Who was it? It was a Crusader. George Bell, sorry, yeah. He was the one who scored the last try. Felt like a while ago, but no, it was only about 10 minutes or so. The red says Neil Bester. Draw works for me, says Heptagonal Ghost. Drop ball from Tim Ryan. Again, just another mistake being made there. It is a free kick, though, for the Crusaders. Quick tap taken by George Bell, 19-19 with 18 minutes remaining on the clock here. Neither side's fully securing this game with the 18 combined handling errors or so. And there's 19. Another one being put down. And we have the Reds all the way, says Heptagonal Ghost. 18 minutes left. Another change. That looks like Seb Calder making his way onto the field after it seems like Fletcher Nall may have taken a bit of a knock there from Harry Wilson. It started raining here, says BTW Bedser. And Reds all the way, says Heptagonal Ghost. Michael Hooper has just said both of these sides have been a little bit clunky. I feel like that's a massive understatement. Crusaders, that is now about their 12th or 13th handling error from this game. It is still sitting 19-19 though. Brad Thorne watching on for this game. Tell you what, if he was still coach of this Reds side, someone would have gone smacked at halftime because they have dropped the ball far too much for any side's liking. We have got the Crusaders one more try. Says aim on there. I just want to say Ruben Love 5 from 5. An opinion on late game for both teams, who usually performs. Well, the Crusaders, with the amount of handling errors they've had in this game, this is reminding me very much of, what game was it earlier on in the year where they couldn't catch a cold? And they just kept on putting down absolutely everything and ended up losing. Who was that against? I'm going to have to look at my phone quickly and check. But this is reminding me of that game. And throughout that match, everyone said, just wait for it. They're about to find their rhythm, the Crusaders, and they never did. So the Reds have had some good finishes, but they have also had some costly moments in the final quarter of a game. One that comes to mind, though, was when they were able to beat the Brumbies with 2 late tries near the closing moments of the game. So they have shown their finishing ability. Oh, it was that game up against the Brumbies where they lost 50 points to 24. And it started raining where? And will the Crusaders go to 4th place if they win, Amish, says Roy Holy. I think they sneaked to 5th, I want to say, in the standings. It depends if they get a bonus point win as well a little bit. Now cross kick attempted there by Hunter Paisami. It's just a nothing kick again here. It's like neither team wants to win. I have money on that game. They cost me on the 2 late tries, says Eamon there. Have you got money on this game? I see the comment of I hope they find their rhythm, so that makes me think that maybe you do. Oh, great take from Louis Chapman, but he's just chucked into touch by Harry Wilson. Another knock on. So many handling errors. This has been far from the clash that we thought it would be. 100 pounds of the Crusaders for -4. Oh, nice run there from Dom Gardner. Chapman going to the right-hand side here. Off to Taylor Cahill. Trying to look around to see whether or not Jamie Hanna is still out there on the field. It's a great steal on the breakdown, though, from the Reds. It's Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen who pops up with the ball. Okay, they're just talking about that North Queensland Cowboys side. They said that they ran up a combined 65 points. In other words, they're pretty much saying there is no excuse for how these two sides are playing. Don't gamble when you don't know what you're doing. That's all I'm going to say, says Amon. So do you fall into the category of knowing what you're doing or not knowing what you're doing, Amon? Our regular Saturday night in Atlanta, Georgia, wastes more than burnouts than Artemis. Les Kiss, he's had a frustrating old day, hasn't he? Paisami, the worst player in Oz after Edmed. Says Morgrill. Richie Asiata. Still 15 minutes left. You know, I mentioned how quickly the first half went. This second half has felt like a snail's pace for these two sides. But there might be the chance that they're both relatively fresh near the end. That's a good run from Isaac Henry. Recently made his way off the bench. Richie Asiata receives the ball from Wershon. Going to be those players off the bench for the Reds to try and bring the impact. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips showing off that step, but he's caught by Taylor Cahill. I've been restricted on Bet365 and now Ladbrokes. Looking into my account, not my day job, but I make more than my day job consistently, says Amon. The Reds can win this, says Tariq Snuba. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Yep, down across. Oh, bit of an injury here for Jamie Hanna. He stayed down. That answers the question of whether or not he's still out there. The name that confused me as a rugby fan says Heptagonal Ghost. And also, what do you make of James Marshall? Or what do you make of James Marshall as an attacking coach? Depends. I think it's very, dependent on the game, I will say. Because sometimes they look like the real deal, and I think that's because they have Will Jordan normally. So many scrums in this game. Says Amon, it's been a lot. But it comes down to that thing once again. Crusaders look like just a whole different side when they don't have Will Jordan. I got booted out of the New Zealand TAB, but not for winning. How'd that happen? And while these Amish fellas run engines of fermented food or fruit, fuel. 14 minutes left. Wires are still up by a lot, says BTW Panzer. Yeah, it's looking like the Warriors are actually going to get themselves a big win there, which is fantastic to see. Wires back on track. Now we're Sean. Kicking this one up high. That one's going to be knocked on by the Reds this time. Johnny McNichol, though, as the ball gives it off to David Harvey. He'll kick it downfield. Hopefully it will be caught. There was almost a miscommunication at the back from the Reds. And that's a charge down. This one goes into touch. Crusaders are missing 2 or 3 key players, aren't they? They're missing Will Jordan. They're missing Cody Taylor. Those are probably their 2 big ones they haven't got for this game. We have got there the act of rebellion by those who given their souls. Your prediction for this game? I went the Crusaders by less than 10. But I also said that the Reds probably didn't have a bad chance. But at the moment, it might be one of these 2 sides by 3. Will Jordan's the man. See him heading off to Japan as soon as the New Zealand rules change, says Neil Bester. Richie Aziata again. Another line out. 19-all still. It's been 19-all for a long time. Letiu grabs that ball. We do also see that Latu has made his way onto the field for Harry Wilson. McNichol goes across to Reves Rehana. Looking to run it forward. Tackled by Paisami. Good spot tackle made by the inside centre for the Reds. Letiu pops it up. Siruru looking for the turnover of the ball and didn't quite get his hands on it. Looks like another injury here. This looks like David Harvey with a little bit of cramp. That ball's going to keep on bouncing all the way over the dead ball line. We'll go right back to where it's kicked from. And we have there Burnout, replacing tyres earlier. Rob Penny doesn't like that chair, prefers a bar leaner. And I love Burnouts. I don't care about Star Wars. Where's the correlation there? Are you a fan of Blonde Bowden Barrett? He looks interesting. It's definitely not the normal look for Bowden, but it's for a good cause, isn't it? So, can't judge it too badly. Although I do judge Zahn Sullivan's haircut quite a bit at the moment. He is gone all out. That is for sure. All right, we're back into the scrum. 68 and a half minutes through this game. The second half, it's been brutal. How many minutes left, bro? Still another 11 minutes in this game. Just going to have a quick look. See, the Crusaders, they scored themselves that try of George Bell in the 53rd minute. That does not feel like 16 minutes ago that George Bell crossed that try line. Okay, Angus Gardner just calling for them to hold the bind. Waz winning 38 points to 14. Yeah, you're doing quite well, Zahn haircut. I was like, who in the F is him? For a minute or two, says BTW Badzer. I just put a bet on the TAB for Hamish to yawn 2 or 3 times from now until game finishes. Don't know about yawning. Well, if we get too many more scrums, maybe. But yeah, I'm still waiting for that big moment. The one that we've been waiting for since about the 55th minute of this game. One of these 2 sides is going to score a brilliant try. Or at least I hope they do. The ball is available for the Reds, but they've got themselves the penalty advantage now. Tim Ryan. In fact, that was Harry McLaughlin-Phillips. I'll pick and go from Siruru up to the halfway line. Can you ask a question, says Mohamed? Go for it. I feel like you've got about 3 or 4 questions that you normally ask, though, so I'm expecting it to be one of those ones. Paul Storm's manager, Chippy, has sadly passed away. Storm's manager, Chippy. What's Chippy? Now, it's an advantage for the Reds again. Now, the big question will be, do they take a 3-pointer if it's on offer? Filippo Dungunu gets wrestled out by Che Fiaki. Which team is more composed at the moment? Maybe a little bit the Reds. Just a little bit. Chippy was his nickname. What's his actual name, though? I don't know who Chippy is, unfortunately. I don't know all the cool South African, insider names. I didn't watch the Force. Did Lomax do anything? I was just not bad, but not good. He did very little. He touched the ball once. He got driven into touch. Touched it again for half a second, past it. That was literally all he did in the whole game. But they left it pretty late to bring him on. Sounds like you're still sick. Check says gets an L. Yeah, still sick at the moment, but should be better soon, I'd like to think. I think it's just because of the lack of sleep last weekend. It kind of delayed me getting better. Whilst don't usually win versus Storm, massive so far. Huge. They haven't beaten them for about 17 games. So I don't even know when their last win would have been. Way back in probably about 2012 or so, maybe even earlier than that. Now Hunter Paisami moving forward. Another injury here. This is for Filipo Dungunu. That is the last thing that the Reds will want, definitely in his 100th game. Now Uru thought about the offload, couldn't get it away to Zane Ngor. The Reds now, this is their best attacking position of the second half, almost, it feels like, with the exception of that early try. Johnny Lee almost managed to get that steal, but Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen just gets right back on the ball, keeps it on his side. Let him play. Like he's come over from league and he barely gets anything. Says BTW. Can it end in a draw? Not technical. Well, kind of. If we go through golden point time and no one scores, we can end in a draw. Another penalty, though, awarded to the Reds. Right. This is now the choice. Big decision. It looks like Harry McLaughlin-Phillips is looking for nothing but the corner here. But is there a chance that they should consider a kick at the post from someone like a Filipo Dungunu? We know he's got the distance. I think he's smiling about it too, Dungunu. I feel like he maybe decided to go for it. But yeah, Reves Rehana. Just hanging on to that one. Japanese versus American. I made Steam Trains Legends. See Septagonal Ghost. Wasn't the overtime again in Super Rugby? What's the overtime again? So it is golden point for, I think it's 10 minutes per half. If no one scores during that time, then it just finishes as a draw. Zan Sullivan's haircut's diabolical. Kane's massive result for the MCS. Keep it simple. Yeah, huge win for the Canes. Definitely with that bonus point in there too. Now, line out throw for the Reds. 10 metres from the line. Did they make the right choice of going for the 7 rather than the 3? Where's Sean? Goes across. Offload back. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips. He's got the ball in hand. He's not afraid to do a couple of those hard carries either, that man. Now, ball pops out the back for Fraser McWright. Now, where's Sean? Goes across to Richie Aziata. Oh, big collision in the breakdown. Vershawn. Across to Sururu again. This just seems like a few phases. They're trying to work it out and they've found the gap. And it's going to be Filipo Dungunu. Does that celebration... What, is it the one who's like on the front of the boat? That one? You know, the one who does like the I don't know what he does. That little kid on the canoe. But he's just done that celebration for Filipo Dungunu. 6 minutes remaining. And the Reds now have taken the lead. Maybe patient. He's trying to refrain from yawning, says Jason. And also we have got there, what time is it by you, Hamish? At the moment it is 11:18. At this point in time. And no, says Coopin. Wahoo, says Heptagonal Ghost. That is a great finish there for Filipo Dungunu. And just, yeah, extends over the line very nicely. He had Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen with him, who's been an absolute game changer off the bench at the moment for the Reds. Being able to change this game around. Oh, it's at the post, though. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips misses that kick, which now makes this a little bit more intriguing for the final 5 minutes. I'm about to sneeze, so I'll very quickly hide and mute. 1 second. We are good, but they are just talking about Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen's impact. He's been able to have, might watch the Women's Six Nations. There's also Champions Cup coming up for the quarterfinals. A drop ball from the Reds just after getting that big breakthrough moment. They literally gift the ball back to the Crusaders. Have you eaten a grey sandwich? Greywich? It's a mix of Marmite with mayonnaise. You get grey colour? No, I have not. Yes, Aussie Rugby winning close. Games, I'm not used to the spelling. Normally by 60 minutes we give up, says Brownie. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, those 14 handling errors from the Crusaders certainly have helped in terms of keeping this game at a tempo where the Reds have really, I think, enjoyed the way that this game's kind of shaped up. They haven't felt too rushed. David Arveli's got an ugly mouse on the side of his head, massive dint there. And we have got there, Storm has scored 2 tries in 3 minutes. Wait, what? So trying to hide damage, we already know what you look like. says Jason. Yeah, you don't know my sneeze face, though, or at least not very well. Now, going off the back list to Whainanoku. What would that make the score? About 26-38 right now. Going off to the left-hand side. Shea Fiaki. Will Jordan is not playing in this game, so it is Super Reese out there on the wing. That used to, when they're close to the line. Oh, brilliant steal, though, from Fraser McWright. Gets the turnover. WDV, you serious? Says Sock there. And also, wait, it's not over yet, says Brownie. My man Kiwi Laird says Shane. That one's going to be put into Dutch by Wershon. 3 minutes now remaining. This is either going to be heartbreak for the Reds at the end of the game, or they're going to be able to come back, get that big moment, and Crusaders going to turn it around away from home. McWright making a count. Absolutely. He's been brilliant out there on the field. Breakdown steals 2 and 2. See, there are a few nervous ex-Reds players watching on from the stands. 15 years ago, they won the Super Rugby trophy. And the Red side here get over the line. That's a loose ball picked up by Severis, who outruns Hunter Paisami. Beautiful pass on the outside off the bounce to Letiu. Now trying to fend off Vershon. Oh, he's wrestled towards the sideline again. He took your head towards forward like an attacking Brumbies player. Says Jason. Now going back across to the right, Reves Rehana. 2 minutes 30 remaining on the clock now. This one's getting to the business end of the contest. Crusaders threw this game away now, says Xander. But the thing is, they're not out of it yet. That's the crazy thing. And if the Crusaders can somehow pull off a victory here, no, that's now a drop ball. Wershon, it's going to become a foot race. Reves Rehana will not catch him, and the Reds now has secured this victory. And this isn't even a bonus point at the moment for the Crusaders either. They've done it before and won, says BTW Padza, but Wershon running and getting that interception try in front of the Queensland crowd. They have just got themselves a very impressive victory. And the Red scored, says Cooper, in there as well. But yeah, Wershon just was not being caught by Reves Rehana there. And now no chance. Yeah, that is the game done and dusted. It's just a question now of whether or not we can see them get within 7 for the Crusaders side for that bonus point. How many times do the Reds win against Crusaders? It's not that often. So they'll definitely be taking this one. Go the Reds, my second team. There's a real Ando there. And the Crusaders have done a Highlanders, says Jason. And that seems an apt way to finish the game. Drop the ball cold. How many Reds points from Crusaders assists? I don't know what the exact number is, but all I know is the Crusaders have dropped the ball at least 15 times as registered handling errors. And normally for those to be registered, like there's even probably about 5 to 10 that haven't been counted. So it's really been a poor handling display from this Crusader side, who are now looking to try and get themselves back into the game. It's actually bounced onto their side. If they were to score now, theoretically they could still have a chance of winning. But I don't think there's enough time left, and they need to look at getting that losing bonus point here, the Crusaders, rather than pushing to try and somehow pull off a miraculous victory. Now back across to the right, there is the advantage in play for the Crusaders. Currently 25 seconds remaining on the clock. What did I change the score? I had Reds by about 5 minutes before the game started. A good run from Lester Whainanoku. Hasn't really been involved in this game. The ball's hardly even got out to him. Throughout this contest too, though. Oh, ball goes on to the side of the Reds, so they will go back for the penalty advantage. Crusaders can't actually take the 3 points here because that wouldn't give them anything from this contest. They have to go for the 7. One sweet day in sport, says Heptagonal Ghost there. And the Wires 1 says K Slade. How many sneezes today so far? I think we're up to about maybe, I want to say 8. Somewhere around there, which isn't actually that bad for the amount of streams that were done. It's actually weird to think about the fact that this is now going to be the last of 4 streams in a row. We get about 2 hours off, and then we're straight back into the action for 2 more games on the channel later on. Our man was win the hard one, and Saders put the bed, says Sock. And damn, and Reds winning will make teams out of the top 6 cemented out of contention. Not necessarily. That actually makes it better, because had the Crusaders won, they would have created a gap of 8 between the top 6 and the rest, Whereas with the Crusaders losing this game, it means that there's a gap of only around maybe 5 or something like that. Now, nice pass. Fiaki scores. So the Crusaders, it took them to 81 to be able to find their rhythm again. And Che Fiaki gets another one. And that is going to be the end of the contest now, ladies and gentlemen. The Crusaders will receive the bonus point from this matchup. Now we have there Richie Mwonga. Never lost the Reds. And Mwonga does not when it comes into it, son. And Oz, yep, up the Hutt Valley. Says Sock. Yeah, they finished there for Che Fiaki. It's another try. Crusaders fans are now blaming the line refs. Actually disgusting. Says Sander. And also we have got there, never won a cup either. Now last kick. Crusaders, that win or that try though, like I mentioned, it does secure that bonus point. I'm going to sulk. Need to take up drinking alcohol again after that once it starts race. I mean, if you're still up at 2 a.m., pop on in for a Champions Cup game. We are going to be here for Toulon versus Glasgow Warriors, as well as the game taking place after that. That one's going to be between, it will be Leinster and Sale Sharks. But nonetheless, it is the end of the game. 31 points to 26. A massive win for this Red side. I'm loving it. Thanks, Hamish. Do Reds get a bonus? They don't. So they will receive the 4 points from this game. But it is as high as it goes for the Red side. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for watching. Back in a couple hours, like I mentioned, about 2.5 for that next game taking place between the Glasgow Warriors and Toulon in the Champions Cup quarterfinal. Yeah, we will see you all for the next one.